Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Nishmas imi morasi ruzas Mordechai. So this was a very emotional email, but he asked me to chop out the first half. So I have to do that. It didn't take, and he sent it through. Yosef, you don't have this email. Send it to Nasano, to send it to me, Bilam Shem. I'm starting from the middle. Basically, he's going through a situation. It didn't take more than 3 seconds for you to say the story of the guy whose mother recently died from cancer, and the shir gives him a spark. I couldn't believe my ears, what I was hearing. I didn't know what to do with that information. I paused the shir. A few minutes later, when I continued, you had mentioned canceling Netflix and donating the shir to the shir instead. Again, I couldn't believe what you were saying. Just yesterday, we canceled our Netflix as a schus. You can't make this up. I figured I would sponsor tomorrow's learning as a schus for Refua Shilam, which I did. But then after calculating what it would have spent on Netflix for the year, $198, I didn't realize it's that expensive, $198. The $180 share, I was still $18 short. So I looked for a way to donate $18, but couldn't find. Only monthly. So I ended up signing up for the monthly for $18. In the huge schus of the Torah you spread, please give us a bracha that everything should go well. This morning I learned there's schus. And Yosef added this to the bottom. There is a custom amount. Okay, but there's no 18. No, but you can add. You can make a sponsorship and then you can check on that. But he's saying like it's not an easy way to get to 18 for some reason. Okay. What? Type in 18. Okay. But boy, unfortunately, our Gadol is not with us. But Yeshivat Leva Torah was hosting Gdolim. Rabbi Nachman Seltzer. As I state. Such an incredible honor to host Rav Nachman Seltzer to give the Talmidim chizuk and inspiration during the Aseret Semei Tshuva. And Rabbi Isai, talking about Gdolim, I'd like to present to you the following slide of Gdolim. This is on sukkahposters.com. So I have. I will if I had. So I'll tell you the emissaries. The truth is I went on their site a few days ago. I was trying to purchase one for my brother as a shtick. I was going to send him. Didn't go through. But for some reason I have a couple of harah'ç over here, 2 harah'ç. I'm the only one that doesn't say new on it. Why? I don't know. Was it there last year? I don't know. Second of all, I don't have a watermark. Are they not concerned that somebody's going to copy and paste my thing? Like the other ones have watermarks on them, mine not. Yeah, I don't know. So the Stam Hara. Mati's thing, yeah.
The material writes itself.
It writes itself, of course. We have Reb Nachman Seltzer on the one hand. We have Gdolim. It's a day of Gdolim. You ask him? If that's a Gadol, that's a Gadol. We're all Gdolim, my friend. We're all Gdolim. Huh? Yeah. Listen. That's good material. Use that. This morning when you mentioned locals from the shir who make sacrifice to come to the live shir, you forgot about me. This is Mati's thing. He's a big onav actually. Bemis. He's right here. Focus on him. Watch how his face turns red if you focus the camera on him. Every morning I let my wife wake up all our kids and get them ready for school by herself. And I can't help that at all because I'm at the shir, and it's truly transformed our shalom bias. This past week, I missed 3 live shirim and gained a new appreciation for all the visuals and how much you help with the retention. You obviously put a tremendous amount of time and thought into the presentation, and the results are much appreciated. Some personal MDY stats for 5-7-83 Tuf Shin Pei Gimel. 1,062 daf learned, including Chazara. He does a lot of Chazara, Mati. He's a big asset in our shir. 6 new MDY recruits. These are the personal stats. 6 new recruits. 4 siyumim, including the first time in 12 years that I was zoicha to make a siyum on my mother's yard side. 330 live shiurim. You were even there for more than 250 of them. In other words, he's here in this base marriage more than I am. 400 plus cups of the best coffee in Bet Shemesh. How did you get to 400, Mati? But doubles is 600 and whatever, no 700. 660. Fast, you got to, Imam, she did the math. Thank you for everything. Your Talmud, Mati, staying Yishkoyach. What's his name? Yehuda? I'm forgetting. What's your son's name? Yehuda. How's he doing? I love that guy. He used to be a big part of the shir. He went to yeshiva. Dear Rosh Yeshiva Shlita, Anaya Toyar. Finally, we got Judah. It's not Purim. He thinks it's Purim. The two people think every day is Purim. You mentioned yesterday that even people chutz la'aretz should sleep in the sukkah. I, for one, don't sleep in the sukkah. I'm a Lebovic chassid. Chabad chassidim do not sleep in the sukkah. The reason is simple. Finally, we got a reason. After all these years, I've been searching high and low. This one actually makes a lot of sense. Judah, please. Who has the medication today? Rabbi Isai? The reason is simple. Picture any town square. You have Chabad shluchim running around asking people if they're Jewish and want to put on tefillin. Every Shabbos told the women, give them Shabbos candles. The sukkahs with the lulav and the sroigim. Pesach with the matzahs. We see them all. We all seen them. Imagine if they held from sleeping in the sukkah, they'll stop everyone and have them a pair of pajamas and ask people to go sleep now in the middle in the mobile sukkah. It's a murderous idea. On a serious note, I'm very grateful to learn the Daf every day with you and twice more. I attend 2 virtual shiurim, yours and Rabbi Beinberger, and in person every night with many of my fellow Hatzlocha members in the Hatzlocha garage with a famous Magid. Have a Gemar Chasima Toiva, yours truly. Please don't mention my last name. I'd like to remain Bi'un Shmoy Moshe. Okay, Givaldik. So I got a lot of this thing about Suffolk, about the Chadash. So first of all, one very important thing is, from Yaakov Friedman, the Kula of Chadash out of Eretz Yisrael is only on Suffolk Chadash. But if it's Vadei Chadash, I believe there's no heter. Okay? That Rabbi Shlomo was also saying yesterday, right after Shir, that a lot of the flour that we have in Chutz La'aretz is a suffix, and that creates a little bit of sveka. Huh? It's all a suffix, unless you know for a fact that it's not. Unless this manufacturer says, I use brand new. Anonymous. Reb Eli. Baal Shem Tov says, no chadash. This tickled me the wrong way. This line. Baal Shem Tov says no chadash. The Torah says yes chadash. Baal Shem Tov says no chadash. I don't like that. You want to explain why he's mekel? Gevaldik. Don't say he's mechulk on the Torah. So he brings like this. I put the red lines there. He says the ubaboiker omad Baal Shem Tov v'sholach lahavi sheichor min hachodash v'shaseyu. He brought beer v'omar and he said kedai habach shematir kedei lismich olav. We could use the bach. What this individual who sent this to me forgot to look at the next line. It says, "Baal Shem Tov mekel b'chodash upamachas nosim ribichil zechet tzadik levrocha kishenas rav burnon v'rosh machmer." Baal Shem Tov saw that Ribichil was machmer. Hitchil gamhu lahachmir. It's on the same page, 2 lines down. The Baal Shem Tov later on in his life was machmer on chodash. Okay, Baal Shem Tov says no chodash. The Sefer says yes chodash. He's machmir on chodash. Okay. Reb Eli, still listening to the shir with my colleague in the office, addictive, so I can't stop. Regarding Chodesh and Chutz La'aretz, please note that Yosham flour is usually infested with bugs. No, anayazach, it's infested with bugs. And each bug is 7 lavim. A very big Talmud Chacham here and big medaktik in every halacha says against being makbid on Chodesh for this reason. We shouldn't listen to the Torah because the Torah itself says it's 7 lavim, so we really can't listen to the Torah. Be blessed, Kol Kvut. Thanks, kind regards, David. Everybody has 7 bugs. You Pasha can't eat the old stuff. They know how to sift today and they know how to. This is bugs. Shalom Reb Eli, I had an interesting chap on this year's Hebrew calendar. Bekitzer, he said what I said a few days ago. If you've been listening to all the shiurim, which a lot of people obviously missed because of Rosh Hashanah, but it's kedai to repeat it because a few people sent it in as if it's a new chiddush. Tov Shin Pei Dalet is Tehei Shnas Daf. Ruchnis, Gashmis, Gemyacha, thank you for making the world Hashem's children better through your daily spreading, teaching, being Rebbe, many of us. And that's Rebbe, many of us never had. I learned in Yeshiva High School back in the day where all the Rabbeim were from Europe, brilliant Talmid Chachamim, but couldn't relate nor teach American boys. It made Gemara learning challenging. Your teaching methods bring a geschmack to thousands of us, and thank you. The reason why I'm reading this also, because look at this. Rabbi Pesach Greenberg, San Jose, Costa Rica. Rabbi Isai, I've been meaning to speak about this individual for many, many days already. This is an individual who has given to MDY hundreds and hundreds of hours, including on some Gedalia alone. On some Gedalia, he was here for 5 hours. So my good friend Avremi Cohen, I asked him to snap this picture, and he did. And this individual, very, very quiet guy, but he gives a tremendous amount to MDY. Here he is, in the desk that's right in front of me, in the hole. He's under the desk, putting together the wires So Yishkoyach Dave Sharfman, he's also the guy who stepped on his back without any question. Yeah, step on my back, no problem. It was actually he's a strong guy. I didn't have how strong. But Yishkoyach Dave for all your hard work. I don't know if you remember what it looked like just a half a year ago. There was dozens and dozens of cables coming out and everything. By the way, that's real walnut, that desk. Part of the theme here in the Beis Medrash. And finally, I've been asked to show this picture, so I will show it. Yesterday, I went to visit my father, and a few people asked me. So here it is. My very, very chashuv father who wears tefillin all day and learns all day, 24/7. Very, very hard to get an appointment with him and to get in there. I was zoicha. I had a beg, and no, I didn't. But I really don't like to disturb him. I don't like this. I feel like I'm taking away from him. So a couple times a year, I go over there. I came with my son, and we had a shmooze. It was gewaldig. Okay. The Paris HaChodesh for the Masechta. The Paris HaMasechta, Lach and Lebovic families, Lakewood, New Jersey, because torah and achdus are the best segula. Avi, what are you making fun? You're starting to see him every single day, your own father, and you can't make fun. It's hard. It's a better one. Yeah, if you pay for it. I do need you here. It's right over here. Huh? Who's the guest? Forgang, Shalom Aleichem. He's not a guest, and he's with Zishes. He's with his good friend from what's the name of the yeshiva over there in Yerushalayim? Medrash Shmuel. Shkoyach. You saw he gave a guy chizuk. Your email gave this guy who's going through a very hard time. What? Oh, don't worry about it. You'll be asleep in 5 minutes. Trust me. I'm gonna start, and you can go to sleep. What are you worried about? He's like, I'm dying to go to sleep. Could he start the shir already? Okay. Leiluy nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. The Paris of Chodesh Rochel bas Leba for Refua Shilam. It's every Yom Kippur. By the way, seriously, I thought about this. I'm not joking. I didn't make a big enough deal that Dr. Avi Factor, from the goodness of his heart, he just donated $1,000 to a person he's never seen so that he could go to them. It was a very nice gesture. We were making jokes as he was saying it, but I chopped later on. A guy said, listen, I'm going to make a sacrifice, and I'm not going to go to the Disney World. I'm not going to sleep in a hotel. And I'm sponsoring Disney World. This is very chashuv. Okay. The Paris HaChodesh. Hatzlocha l'zchut Yosef Miriam ben Rochel. Paris HaChodesh. Elan Chaim Golan. Leiluy nishmat Batsheva Chaya bat Miriam. Leiluy nishmat Paris HaChodesh nishmat Zechrya ben Moshe. Paris HaShavua. Just an Ivri dedicated to my personal hero inspiration, Reb Eli. And in honor of your great father, har'ç, Reb Yaakov Now you all saw the picture. Whom all of us at MDY owe a huge akaris atov in excuse me, Yishkoyach. Rocky Kane. Refua Shilam for Chaya, Bracha, Bas, Miriam, Tova was having brain surgery today. She should have Refua Shilam. Parnas Hayoim, Shulam Berkovitz from UK. In honor of my son, Nusan Mordechai's bar mitzvah today and his completing of Masechtas, Tainus. In honor of the occasion, together with MDY, he finished it. Parnas Hayoim, Reuven, Hersin, in loving memory of my father-in-law, Shmuel ben Yaakov, and Shabbat Shadav and Aliyah. Parnas Hayoim, L'schus Refua Shilam, Sheindel Esther, Bracha, Bas, Gittel. For Shelemah. And the art of the month is Ben Chaya Sorfos Chusim that come from supporting them at torah. The boys say we're holding in middle Daf Yomi on the base. We have plenty of time. Oh, but I mamish kimat forgot the most important thing I was supposed to say. It's almost Yom Kippur, and this guy donated $18 a month. You could also donate tzedakah to the best cause that I know, cause that brings people to torah. Monthly. If you listen to this, if you go monthly.com, you put in some there, you will be included. Your name will be in the next volume of Baba Kama, volume number 1. I'll go through all the names tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem. All the people gave yesterday, people gave today. You're gonna go through all the names, Be'ez Hashem. And then I realized I'm not on it, so maybe I should go on it as well. I gave a nice check, but I have to be on the monthly. All right, there's other people that are from the staff that are on the monthly as well. Vash to the Amers. That's where we're holding, 15 lines from the bottom of Lamed Zayin. Vash to the Amers. A person who has a choiv on his body, like Shabbos, like Bris Milah, that all applies all over the world. It's not only a mitzvah or an avera in Eretz Yisrael, it's also in Chutz La'aretz. Moishav the Kosar Rachmon Gabi Shabbos, Lamed Zayin Amud Beis in the middle. It says, Moishav, Lisavaru Eish, B'chol, Moishvei Seichem, B'yoyim HaShabbos, Lomali. What does Moshav mean in this case? Itzrich. Where does it say Shabbos? Look over here. We see Shabbos. That's pasuk Gimel. The following pasuk is Elan Mayadei Hashem Mikrei Kodesh. The pasuk that we say by Kiddush on Yontif. So since Shabbos is like a Yontif, Tibai Kiddush, we should require that Bezdin is Mekadesh Rosh Chodesh, sanctifies the day. When do we know? When's Yom Kippur this year? When's Rosh Hashanah this year? Bezdin decides. Today we have a calendar. Those days, Bezdin through Kiddush HaChodesh decided what day every Yontif is. So maybe they have to be Mekadesh Shabbos also. It's in the same parasha. Yes, it's every 7 days, but not before Bezdin decides. Here's the Kiddush HaChodesh. Where do you do that? It says Rashi in Yehuda, in Yerushalayim. Kiddush HaChodesh in Yerushalayim only. It should be like Yontif. Kamash Malon. No. You don't need a Kiddush. We say in Shemoneh Esrei, we said this on Rosh Hashanah. How does it go? Mekadesh HaShabbos v'Yisrael v'yoyim hazikaron. No, this is Mekadesh Yisrael HaShabbos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mekadesh Shabbos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mekadesh Yisrael. And the Kedusha that Yisrael have, they take that Kedusha and they're Mekadesh Yom HaZikaron. First, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did Shabbos in Yisrael, and it gave Klal Yisrael the power to be Mekadesh Rosh Hashanah. Without Yisrael, you don't have Rosh Hashanah. But Shabbos is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mekadesh HaShabbos, right? You have to split it. So we have the famous picture from Rav Avram Weisfish, was a big part of our shir. Our in-house shoichet, he sent me a picture of the chaylev. This is the fat that's also for you to eat. And it says in the pasuk, again, Moishava, but it's not Eretz Yisrael. It's all over the world. Why does the Torah say Moishav? Because where does it say the Sisser? In middle of the parish of Karbonis in Vayikra, in the time of Beis Hamikdash, you could bring a carbon. Maybe that's the only time that you could. That's also to eat chayil v'dam. This man like a carbon, but in our days there's no carbon law. Maybe it's not also. Komashma Moshe Seichem in all generations. Moshe because of Rachman Gabi Matzu Moror Lomali. B'chol Moshe Seichem Toichlu Matzois. Why does it say Moshe Seichem? It's just that in Hoil Viksiv. Al Matzois Imroi Yichlu. Here it is. Vasa Pesach Hashem. Pasuk Yud talks about Korban Pesach. And then it says, Al matzah sumroim yuchlu. You have to eat the Korban Pesach with matzah. So I would think that they're interconnected. When there's a Korban Pesach, you eat matzah at the Seder. No Korban Pesach like today, unfortunately. No matzah. Maybe. It's a socket that you matzah sumroim yuchlu. Bizman you get Pesach in, bizman like a Pesach loy, kamash malot. Be the Gazar Rachman Gabi Tfilin, Upedach Hamar, Lomali. So here's Petach Hamar again, so you don't forget it. It's the idea. Not everybody knows it. I'm serious. You go out with somebody asking in the street, what do you do when you have a firstborn Hamar? No, they won't know. Give 5 selah to the kohen. I don't know what they're going to tell you. You take a sheep and you give it to the kohen instead of the donkey. By the way, I forgot to say, huge mazel tov to Rabbi Dambi, who sits next to me every day. He had twin grandchildren. 2 boys, right? Your first grandchildren? No, but close. It's not your son, the barber. It's your daughter, right? Mazel tov. Big acid tower. What? Okay. Who else had twins? Maybe we could do shidduch, whatever. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Oh, so it says here. V'haya kiviyacha. You see the kiviyacha. It says it afterwards also one time. Yiviyacha. Bia. And then it says v'haya l'chol lois al yadcha. It's talking about tefillin. Pasuk Yud Gimel says v'chol petach hamar. So why does it say yiviyacha? When you come to Eretz Yisrael, we know it's not when you come to Eretz Yisrael. You chayiv in tefillin. You chayiv in tefillin all the time. Petach hamar also you can do it all. Says the Gemara. Ahum bar le'getana de'bei b'shmal. Asay mitzvah zu shebeshvila tikonos la'aretz. If you do these mitzvahs, petach hamar and tefillin, you'll be zoich to go into Eretz Yisrael, and that's what happened. That's chus. You'll go into Eretz Yisrael. So we had a machlokes. What does Moshav mean? Does Moshav mean everywhere in the world, or does Moshav mean when you come into Eretz Yisrael, you capture and settle the 14 years of Eretz Yisrael. If it means everywhere, so we're going back to the idea of Chadash, and it tells us in the Torah that when you come into Eretz Yisrael, it's in the Navi. When you come into Eretz Yisrael, they started eating from the new crop. Tosis brings the lashon over the koli. It's the new crop. When? The next day after Pesach. When is that? Tezayin. Isn't that interesting? It coincides with the day of the Omer. When do we bring the Omer? Second day of Pesach. So the Navi is telling us that they only started eating the new crop. The new crop, it says. On the second day of Pesach. Not on the first day of Pesach. The second day of Pesach. L'chayr, it says, when they came into Eretz Yisrael, the very, very first year, they couldn't eat anything new, any of the new crop, until the second day of Pesach, until they brought the Omer. Doesn't say Omer, but l'chayr, that's what it says in the pasuk. They didn't wait 14 years. The Isser of Chadash applied on the very first year when they came into Eretz Yisrael. How are you going to get out of this question? The Gemara has an unbelievable way to get out of it. So Taisus, just as a side note, you could be looking Taisus here in the bottom of Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph, also on the top of Lamed Ches Amud Aleph. He brings up a very, very interesting point that at the end of the day, Klal Yisrael had to eat matzah. How did they eat matzah the first night of Pesach? They had stuff from the old stuff. So then why did they new? Okay, they want to eat from the new crop. Fine. But then Taisus has an interesting shiloh that it shocked me, this question. He says, why didn't you say mitzvah esse doicha lois esse? You had to eat a matzah, so it pushes off the Isser of Chadash. Okay. I don't know how it works exactly. I guess it works like that. So like, okay, I need to eat meat, so then I'll eat treif now, because I need to eat meat. Like, I guess, yeah. Certain situations. But the word koli, fine. Koli means new. For whatever reason, they're eating new. No. It's too what? I don't know. I don't understand the kasha. Fine. Says the Gemara. I'm saying I'm a klutz. There's something I'm missing. Something seems like there is acidic lysis in a lot of areas, but over here it's like
before the dibur, maybe it should be good for after the dibur. He's like, no, it's not.
I'm not talking about the terrace. I'm talking about in the kasha. Okay. Anyway, weiter. But according to the Mandomer that says that they waited 14 years for the Isser of Chadash to apply, why didn't they eat right away? The first day they walked in the Eretz Yisrael. Why did they have to wait until the second day? Says the Gemara, no, they have it tzrichi. They didn't need it. They had something much, much better than food from the ground. They had the man. Why would you eat anything if you could have the man? A ruchni is food. You don't go to the bathroom afterwards. It tastes like anything you want. Why would I start messing around with wheat and doing this process to it and that process until I hear Yosef did a whole thing to show how the Chodesh works. I'll show it to you in a second. So we have a contradiction in the pasuk. It can't mean that they ate the man until they got into Eretz Yisrael. At the border, they only ate it up to the border. So why? You can't say they stopped eating it at the border. They were already in Eretz Yisrael. A little bit of a contradiction. How does it work? The 7th day of Adar, there was no more man. That's way before they went into Eretz Yisrael. The 7th day is 33 days before what we're talking about. Okay, so on the 7th day of Adar, we know Zayin Adar, there's famous yard site. Zayin Adar Meis Moshe. Why did the month stop falling down on Zayin Adar? Because it only fell because of his schus. A tzaddik brings chusim, sometimes we don't even know. Maybe a certain Rebbe is nifter and my parnas is hurt. I don't know how it works exactly. But when Moshe Rabbeinu was nifter, that's it. On the spot, everybody realized man was in his schus. But they had leftover man, and they kept on eating this man until the 16th of Nisan. So Mela, that's the pshat. The pshat in the pasuk is, yes, it stopped falling, let's say, by the border when they were standing there, and then Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go into Israel, and Hashem said, no, that's it, you're going to die today. Okay, that's when it stopped. But they were eating it even when they were in Eretz Yisrael, because it's two different things. One is when it stopped, and another thing in the pasuk is when they continue eating it till. We have a problem. The Klai Yisrael really eat the month for 40 years. They're missing 30 days. These ugois, these cakes that they took out from Mitzrayim, they tasted like man. It wasn't man, but it tasted like one. So we have a complete 40 years. There's a very interesting Rashi. It's a Rashi Pliya in Yaina. Rashi says that what did the fish eat when Yaina was in his stomach? If he didn't digest Yaina, so what happened to the fish? So he says he ate the man. There's a 16 days missing of man, and that's the man he ate. And how does the 16 days fit into the sugya? It's 30 days, it's 33. Where did the 16 come from? Akopanim, a lot of people say Parshas Haman every single day, including on Shabbos, for the segula of Parnasa. It's a big segula. On Shabbos, they don't say the tefillah for Parnasa, but it's a thing. It's an actual thing to say. Oh, I just realized, Lauren, you told me something from Rabbi Milinowitz. What did he say? It's not the Parsha. Maybe there's on Ketores? On Parshas Haman. On Parshas Haman, that what? It's not a segula.
It's a direct correlation. A segula means it's not related so much.
Yeah.
This is not.
If you wear a red band, this and this will happen. This is not. It increases your bitachon. So Mela.
About how they were taken care of in the midbar, so then it increases your bitachon. Hashem takes care of us.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, the famous Gemara that Moshe Rabbeinu was nifter on the day that he was born. How do you know he was nifter on that day? Shelemah, Vayomas Moshe Sham, Moshe Eved Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was nifter that day. By the way, just as derech agav, Bachram came to ask Reb Elyashiv for chizuk. Give us a chizuk. Now, Reb Elyashiv didn't have time for chizuk and speeches, so he looked at it as Gemara and he said, Moshe Rabbeinu was, I don't know how smart he was. Extremely smart. He learned the whole Torah, everything, in 40 days, a big Kiddushin. But the Torah never mentions how smart he is. All the Torah mentioned is his midas. Midas is the most important thing. In yeshiva, because Kishrin is the big thing in yeshiva. It was the big Kiddushin. Midas. Midas is what the Torah emphasized. I go upon him, Moshe Avdi Meis V'atakum Avor. Uchsiv Moshe Avdi Meis V'atakum Avor. Tells us Yeshua, my Moshe, my Eved, died. Now let's go. 3 days after his. I did 5 lines. So it's 30 days of Chaya. Very important. No, Chas v'Shalom. That's not true. That's when I said Reb Elyashiv. Uchsiv. So you have 30 days. Uchsiv vayachri Moshe Eved Hashem. Uchsiv Moshe Avdi Meis V'atakum Avor. Uchsiv Ivru B'Kever Machlem Tzavos Ha'om Leimor Chinu Lachem Tzedek Kiboy Shloishes Yomim Tavris HaYarden. So you have 33 days. 3 plus 30. Uchsiv. V'Ha'om Olu Ben HaYarden B'Sol HaChodesh HaRishon. And Klai Yisrael came over the Yarden on the 10th of Nisan. Chodesh HaRishon. Here, just to remind the Olam, this wonderful here. The arm goes through. What's going on here? No. It's a little jaggedy. Okay, remember the stones that they found, the rock bed, with the stones, they wrote the Torah. They just thought it was cool. The pillar of water going straight up into Shemayim, it stopped right over there. Okay. Great, maybe Yosef will fix it, make it work quicker. Right, so we're at 10th of Nisan. I go back 33 days that we just counted. Nisan, 10 days of Nisan. So 23 days into Adar, right? Let's say you have 29 days. So you get to the 7th day of Adar. From Zayin Adar until the 10th of Nisan, it's 33 days. It works out fine. How do you know that Moshe Rabbeinu was born on the same day that he was nifter? I am 120 years old today. Yeah? The famous joke. What do you tell somebody on his 120th birthday? Have a wonderful day. You wish. There's a couple that share the same birthday. My wife and I almost have the same birthday. Same year, almost. By a few days off. So this is share the same birthday. So the wife wishes the husband, she tells him, she'll live to be 120. So he looks at her and he says, and you should live to be 119. She says, what? Why 119? He says, what? I don't deserve 1 year of peace and quiet. All right. You don't get? You want a joke you get? This one you'll get. So, you're a doctor. He's still awake. Because he heard Asher Yeshua Yisrael. A guy goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, what should I do to live a long life?" He says, "First thing, get married." He says, "What? That's a segula to live long?" He says, "No, then you're not going to want to live a long life." That you get. I told you. Right. So. 120 years old today. You say I'm 120. What do you mean I'm 120 today? HaKadosh Baruch fills up the year exactly to the day. The famous medrash that Haman picked Zayin Adar because it's a terrible day, because that's the day that Moshe Rabbeinu was nifter. But he didn't realize that that's the day that Moshe Rabbeinu was born. So isn't that part of it like one? But from here, the Gemara, you see, it's very special that he was nifter on that day. It's a lot of Hasidim don't say Tachan on that day. Zayin Adar, huh? The ganze.
The Haman said the month. Haman says the month.
Who says?
Haman.
Oh.
Because he died on that day.
No, I thought. Well, why Zayin Adar? Came in a fine. It's a special day. It's a day that you see that Hakadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm filling. He had Shlemos. This tzaddik had Shlemos, and I'm going to make sure that he dies on that day. Oh, I got to say this because we have plenty of time, but it's a very, very important Maisa. I said this once before, but it's kedai to hear it again. Chazara. Reb Shimshon Pinkus, he was a bacher, and they had a house. They rented a house, and he realized there's a lot of chametz on the roof. And he told his friends, "I got to take care of the chametz, and So he spent many hours getting rid of the chametz. I think he was a bacher, maybe he's older. Many hours, but the whole night. And he was very worried that the Seder is going to come and he's going to fall asleep. And the Seder came and he had rejuvenated koichas, and he went with the Seder and everything. And Reb Shimshon Pinkus says in the Sefer, he says, from that moment on, when he gave that extra push, when everybody couldn't do it and he did it, and with the risk of ruining the Seder, from that point on, he realized a special aliyah and ruchnius, and everything should be Kiddushin in his life. Everything changed from that. Fast forward many years, he was killed in an accident, and he was buried on Leil B'dikas Chametz. So a few G'dolim that came to be Menachem Aval told the family that Reb Shimshon Pinkus filled his years, because his point of turn in his life, it's not the day you're born, but the point in turn in life. Megillah Daf Chavd Gimel. That day that you decided to start learning, that day that he switched his life, that was the day he was nifter on. As Mispar Yomecha Amali. Tanya Reb Shimon ben Chayomer. Sholish mitzvahs and Stavi Yisrael b'knisas and Laaretz. There are the three mitzvahs that we're talking about. Chadash, Arla, Kilayim. V'noyegos ben Baaretz, ben b'chutz Laaretz, Vuadin, Sheinagu, and the same will apply that they take place in Chutz Laaretz as well. Uma chodosh, from a Kabbalah Chaimer. Uma chodosh ein isur isa oilam. Chodosh, you have the new crop, you could get rid of the isur. It doesn't last forever. Pes Zayin Nisan comes, if you don't have the oimer, you're able to eat it. If you have the oimer, you bring the oimer and you're able to eat it. Bein isur isa hana. It's not a strong isur. You're allowed to give this crop, the new crop, to your animal to eat. You're just not allowed to eat it. Yesh heteli isuroi. So Rashi says, what does it mean yesh heteli isuroi? We just said that ein isur isur oilam. This doesn't last forever. So what does it mean? So what it means is that if you're, instead of waiting to the Tes Zayin Nisan, I could bring the carbon oimer earlier, and that day it's already mutter. I could get rid of this on that day. So it's a very light isser. Again, I could give it to my animal. I could get rid of the isser. I could bring the oimer. It's mutter. Yet, so I got to show you this real quickly. You don't have a lot of time, but Yoshi did a whole animation here of what it means to bring a oimer. So 3 people, they go ahead and they, with sickles, they take 3 bundles of this barley. They put it in 3 boxes. Mamish, a whole arichas over here. And you have to get this ready for the carbon. So you go and you separate the kernels from the shaft, bring it down. Okay, next. Then you have to sift it, and then you do kalui. You have to make it kalui. So you take the kernels and you put it on this thing. You put a fire underneath, and you, what is it called in English? You roast it. And then you have to do tchina. Oh, it's like that's why it's called tchina. Okay. You put the kernels in there, and you turn the thingy. The stone is not turning so well, but the wood is. And then you have to add oil and the frankincense. I don't have to bring it anymore because we have it. Here it is, frankincense. What? It was sifted, you didn't see? We did the sifting. Akabarim, this is the oimer, this is the first crop, the old crop. From this point on, then you bring the oimer. You're allowed to eat all this to the right, and anything that takes root, right over here in Tavshin Pei Daled, you're not allowed to eat until the following Pesach when you bring the carbon oimer. So, okay. So kalayim, shisur nisailam. If I take wheat and I plant it together with a grape, I can never benefit from it. There's no carbon that I could bring and say, oh, now I'm allowed to eat it. Visur nisra no. Check this out. This pasuk leisizra karmacha kaloyim. Tigdash hamalei azera tigdash lashon of kadosh. It's like the Beis Hamikdash. You can never use it. There's no way that I could bring something today and make it mutter today. And he did. So since it's so chamer, and this the issue should apply even in chutz la'aretz. So what's arla? Here's a nice little thing that he did for us. The first 3 years of a tree is also ba'ana. The 4th year is called revai, and on the 5th year you're allowed to eat it. So only 2 of these things apply. Why? Because arla, according to Rashi, it's a big chiddush. Because you would look at the orange or the apple on this tree and say, is this apple ever mutter? Says Rashi, that's not what we're talking about. The tree is mutter. But today, so it's not Isser Oilam. There's no Isser Oilam on this tree. Yes, this apple is also Isser Oilam. But the tree, Rashi doesn't like that. What do you mean? But the apple is also. Okay, so he changes. They're saying the same thing. It's just what you call it. And the bottom line is that this tree is mutter after 3 years. So it shares similar things to Kalayim, but not all of them. Reb Elazar Reb Shimon Oimer. So it's interesting. Until now we had Shitas Reb Shimon Ben Yochai, Rashbi. Rashbi's son, Reb Elazar Reb Shimon, he argues on his own father. Oimer, Lamches Amud Beis. Kol mitzvah shenistavu Yisrael koydem knisasan la'aretz. So Rashi points out the word nistavu is not literal, because all mitzvahs were before Klal Yisrael went into Israel. Matan Torah is a tzivui. So says Rashi, nistavu means they were noyeg. They actually did the mitzvah. Any mitzvah that was done before they went into Israel, noyeg is bein bars bein chutz la'aretz. Then it applies all over the world. Lachnik Knisasim La'aretz. But if he started doing the mitzvah only once he came into Eretz Yisrael, and in Haggis Ela Ba'aretz, what did they start doing when they came into Eretz Yisrael? Arla, Chadash, and Klayim. So I argue on my father. My father said that all these things apply all over the world. And I argue on him. I say, no, they only apply in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because they didn't have land in the Midbar. They weren't planting anything in the Midbar. There's no Arla, Klayim, and Chadash. It only applies in Eretz Yisrael. Chutz min hashmatas ksafim b'shulach havadim. There's two mitzvahs, like the prusbul that we make on Shemitah. If I lend money to somebody and then the 7th year of Shemitah comes, he doesn't have to pay me back. V'shiluach havadim, and getting rid, and the slaves go back on Yovel. So if a slave, even the nirtza, said I want to work for you, and we poked his ear, he leaves on Yovel. Sponsored by, for all those in need of a Refua Shilam, and in honor of my uncle, Reb Eli Pressman, and as a schus for a year filled with mazel bracha, Hatzlocha, and parnasa berevach for all of MDY family. These two mitzvahs, Shmitas Ksafim, Shluach Havadim, they apply even in Chutz La'aretz. Bein bars bein Chutz La'aretz. So we have a machlekes here. Hashmatas Ksafim, as the Gemara, Hashmatas Ksafim, Chavis Agufi. Very simple sugya. This idea that you have to forgive a loan when it comes to Shemitah, that's on the person. So Mela, that already applied in the Midbar. No, that's something that should have happened in the Midbar. Says Gemara, Tanya. The Reb Eli v'zed var Shemitah Shamayt is a double lashon Shemitah Shamayt. B'shtei Shemitas hakasim medaber. We're talking about two different Shemitas. Acha Shemitas karka, the one that we're familiar with, you can't plant on Shemitah, benefit from the fruits of Shemitah. V'acha Shemitas ksafim, and we're talking about the money thing. They go hand in hand. When you can't work the field, then you have to forgive a loan. Okay? So in a time that there's no Shemitah, before you go into Eretz Yisrael, there's no Shemitah's Ksafim. Maybe it's in a place like in Eretz Yisrael. Shemitah applies in Eretz Yisrael only. So maybe this idea of forgiving loans in Shemitah is only in Eretz Yisrael. Maybe it only applies in Eretz Yisrael. From the puzzle we see Mikol Makar everywhere. Shiluach Avadim. Here's the famous picture from a famous Choshev artist of an Eved leaving one day too early. It's Nervayim. You leave too early, you pay. I should have said it when Dambi got up. Shiluach Avadim Chayis Agufi. So ask the Gemara Nachamal. It's something that applies to the human being. It's not something that grows out of the ground or something that has to do with the ground. I heard a Murdika line from Rabbi Friedlander. Because he's talking in this tshuva, almost not related to that sugi, but we're coming back to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, we go back home, the Eved is going back home. So now I thought about this line that somebody asked, why do we do tshuva every single year? Isn't it weird? Same thing, same Averis, same 3-4 Averis. Rabbi I did Lashon Hara again, but you said it last year, and you said you're going to do tshuva, and you said you're doing tshuva, and then 3 days later you're up there, and then next year, and then next. So what are you doing? So he said a guy has a yacht, and it's tied to the side, and because of the corrosion of the salt, he goes and he buys a new rope, and then after 6 months he buys another rope. So the guy comes over and says, "What are you doing? You just bought a new rope, so what are you buying another rope?" Okay, if I don't buy another rope, then there goes my yacht. Yes, sometimes you have to repeat the same thing, and as I talked, it's a nice thing. Yes, it doesn't make sense to us by looking from the side, but this is something we have to do. The Chazon Ish says, every time we do this, so I'm close to Hakadosh Baruch Hu for those 3 days. Yes, it only lasts for 3 days. Some people 10 days, some people 3 months, whatever it lasts. But at least it lasts for that small amount.
That's the real you.
Huh?
That's the real you.
That's the real you. That's the you I want.
That 3 days is the real you.
Just thumbs up.
No, we're not halfway through Shas. Lamates on base. No, Lamates. I believe it's Lamates.
Don't rush it.
Here, come here. Say that over here, Rabbi. Zok the Gemara. Ukarasim sorry. Shiluach Avadim Chavis Agufi. Says Gemara. Zok the Chaim Hoyluk Siv Ukarasim Dror Baretz. You should call a Yovel in the land. Baretz in. This only applies in Eretz Yisrael, but Chutz La'aretz loy. Not a Chutz La'aretz. Loymar Yovel he Mikol Makai. No, special limo that this applies. Avadim go out all over the world. Imkei and Yovel. Imkei matam aloyma ba'aretz. So then why does it say in Eretz Yisrael? Is man shadror noig ba'aretz. When Yovel applies in Eretz Yisrael, noig b'chutz la'aretz, then applies in chutz la'aretz as well. Ein dror noig ba'aretz. When there's no Yovel in Eretz Yisrael, ein noig b'chutz la'aretz. Hold on a second. Then also, hechadash also minat torah b'chol makayim. Chadash is asur all over the world. Minat torah. That's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense to say the Baal Shem Tov doesn't hold of chadash. The Gemara here says chadash asur minat torah b'chol makayim. Look, there's a dalet here. That means this is how we paskin in Shulchan Aruch. Here's the Shulchan Aruch. Tur Shulchan Aruch. Siv v'lechem kol yikarim lo yisayich luad ditzmayim ezeh. She'asa lechem mitfus hachamesh saminim. All 5 grains. At sheikra va'omer shu b'yidvav b'nisan. V'isur zeh noyeg. And this isur applies bein bizman habayis in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, bein shaloi bizman habayis, and not at the time of the Beis Hamikdash. In our days, bein ba'aretz, bein b'chutz la'aretz. This isur d'oraisa applies in our days in America. Bein b'shal Yisrael, bein b'shal Nachri, whether it's a Jewish flower or guy. El bizman shoyim ekarev muter miyad b'shishas b'nisan achar krivasai. When you have the omer, you can eat it immediately that day. Okay, but in our days, you have to wait till the next day. So it's suffix. And then he brings, so I brought this whole thing. It only applies to something that was grabbed root before. So he brings his father, Adoni Avi Arash, that you don't have to worry about a suffix. We're going to get into sugi action in suffix. But at least you know. Just know, eat chadash, eat whatever you want based on the Baal Shem Tov. But just know that it's based on an Issa D'Oraisa and what most Rishonim hold and how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. Tazan awesome. Chadash awesome in a Torah b'chol makom. Chadash is awesome all over the world. In America, Arla again. So that when the guy said, when I asked for Yoshem bread, and that guy said Chadash awesome in a Torah, he didn't know what he's talking about. He Pasha didn't know this is Shulchan Aruch. That's it. Correct. But you don't tell somebody that when he's asking for Yoshem bread. It's not a chumrah. It's not a mishigas. He thought I was a mishigan, a brisker asking for something weird. No, I'm just asking to do what the Torah tells me to do. My halacha. Okay, the Bach is Mekel. I'm not belittling the Bach. He's Mekel, and you could be something in the Bach, but you have to know your stuff. Oh, sorry. Arla halacha. Arla's halacha. Now, what does it mean halacha all over Shas? Halacha l'reish Sinai. Havaklayim b'divrei soifrim. Klayim is only midrabanan. Says the Gemara, my halacha. But what does it mean over here? Omer Rav Yehuda Mishmuel. Hilchas Medina. It's not halacha l'reish Sinai. This is something they accepted in all countries. No, it's literally what it means. Halacha l'reish Sinai. That's how we pass it. Omer le'ula l'Rav Yehuda b'shlam l'di damrinan. Okay, so we could stop right over here. Rabbi Say. Have a wonderful day.